us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, call the meeting to order. First thing up is approval of the minutes from January 12th. Any changes, additions, corrections?
I'd make a motion that we accept them.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Old business, New York City land acquisition. I'm assuming county planning's gonna be working on that latest land acquisition request that came in.
Yes, we'll do a review.
Okay. And as long as we've got you on the hot seat, have they got the list revised yet for the designated extension?
Spencer's working on it, but I wasn't sure if you were going to do a mailing or not. Well, I did talk to the DEC, and you don't have to do a mailing unless you're changing from, if you've allowed acquisition up to now, and now you're gonna not allow it, then you have to do a mailing to let everybody know. If you're just gonna take a few parcels out, you don't have to do a direct mailing. So the direct mailing is totally up to you. So just so you know.
Well, it wasn't gonna cost us anything to direct mail anything, right?
No, it's just a matter of some towns have decided it's a lot to do if they have 2 or 3 people that wanna come out, or some towns are just doing nothing. So we wanted to make sure that it wasn't a requirement of the water supply permit that they do the direct, that you let everybody know that this is happening. And they said it's not. If you're just gonna do nothing, it's not. If you're gonna take a few parcels out from people that have sent a letter, you don't have to either.
So does the general public know this is going on?
Some do, some don't. I mean, people who were put in 5 years ago, I was contacted by a few people. I know Mark has a few letters from people who were part of the original designation and wanted to make sure it was on note that they wanted to come out this time. Some towns have decided just to do a public hearing notice instead of a direct mailing. Because they're probably not gonna change anything, or they're taking 1 or 2 parcels out. So we'll put a public hearing notice in paper like we would do for zoning or anything else, and consider that as enough. So it's totally up to you. If you wanna do the direct mailing, we'll do it.
What's the pleasure of the board?
How many parcels are involved in this?
A lot,
Couple
Yeah.
hundred?
There's a lot.
at least.
Yeah, I would say probably.
Because you have the village extension areas, and you have the hamlet, Fraser, so it's a lot.
You can go out and Holy County.
No.
Well, I just feel that, we probably should be at least putting a notice out there that, the time is here.
Yeah.
And have a public hearing at either our next meeting, which I won't be at, so you could do that.
Thanks.
We'll wait till you're back and we'll
Wait,
all leave.
you all- Then I'll let everybody know. But, I think we probably should do that, because if it goes by and we don't do anything, people are gonna be upset with the fact that we didn't.
Maybe if we just advertise a public hearing like 2 weeks in a row.
That'll be our legal commitment that we have to do.
Yeah,
Have to fulfill our legal commitment.
So canning the idea of the direct mail,
yeah.
because it's wasteful.
Well, it's kind of wasteful, and there's no guarantee we'll still hit everybody that's the current owner.
Yeah, we'll do
If
the best
something
we can.
transfers in the next couple weeks, we could still miss somebody, which probably would be a bigger problem than not sending the mailings to begin with.
And I'll say, the largest issues we had after, 2011 was that we had done direct mailings, and people didn't come to the public hearing. And then a few months after the public hearing, they came with their letter, and we're like, it's over, and they've been mad for 5 years. So,
I've probably already heard from all of them.
yes, I really do think, and what we talked to those people about was making sure to send a letter for this time, even if they sent it right away, that it would, and people did that all across the county.
I've got one that wanted to be taken out, he never was put in, so.
Easily solved.
That one has been solved.
And if you do have specific parcels that people have asked to be taken out, what we're doing is, what I'm gonna be doing for Roxbury and I'll do for you is, get those individual parcels and we'll do like a natural resource inventory on them, so you have all the specific information, about that parcel. That way, as you're looking at it, determine if it should come out or not, you're having a standard, an objective standard about why it would be okay to take it out. You
How
know,
can we get the information like on slopes?
that's what I mean, it'll have like slopes, wetland, access, does it have water and sewer, you know, anything like that. You know, some parcels were put in strictly to get to the next parcel, because, as you know, it can be difficult if the city owns a piece of property to get infrastructure across that piece, so.
Difficult? I would word it more impossible, but.
So, for us, I think it's important, because every city acquisition is forever, that before you allow purchases or take pieces out, that you set some kind of standard about how that happens based on, you know, something objective. And that way, future town boards will have, I think, you know, more to go on in terms of why we might have taken something out or not, if a piece is developable or not. You know, that I think is really important in terms of making a decision. So,
And this MOA is, again, in another 5 years?
yeah, it's every 5 years.
Every 5 years.
Mhm.
When is the deadline for,
It's 180 days, so it'll be June sometime that we have to have it all done by.
So we need to have the public hearing prior to that,
Yes.
sometime March, April.
Yeah.
I
And like I
would
said,
kind of
if-
figure maybe in March we'll set a public hearing for the April meeting.
And then like if you have the specific letters from people who have already been asked to get taken out, if you could forward those to me, and that way I can put that information together and get it back to you guys so you guys can look at it.
Okay. Let's see.
We also have,
Mailing.
the legal notices that we did last time that I can work with Elsa on, so when she puts the public hearing out there, it's in accordance with, that language, so.
Okay. Are there any other questions for Nicole?
Not at this time.
I think that's what we
Okay, and
need to
just
know
so
now.
you know, Elsa and I, discussed the floodplain development local law, which we talked about last month, so if it's okay with you, we're gonna coordinate, our department working on that, redoing the draft local law, and sending it to DEC in March for their, review, so then we can move ahead with the adoption in April and May. Okay,
Good.
all right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
good night.
Good night.
See ya.
Okay. Does anybody on highway committee know whether we've gotten any progress on a highway shared service agreement yet?
I don't. I haven't heard anything back.
Okay. I'll leave that on the burner then, still to be accomplished. New York State Power Authority and the Hamden Hill Road spur issues. I talked to Mr. Steve Ramsey at the Power Authority again, explaining how we were not extremely happy with what's been going on. And I basically told him when they get done, I want the road repaved. Even their own workers now are saying the road is trashed. And he's made a note in the file and he's passing it up the food chain to hopefully get us an official promise.
Can we get a contract?
Well, that's where we're trying to head.
I mean,
Yeah,
verbal agreements are one thing, but if
I
you get it on
drove,
writing.
up through there the other day, sometime, it was last week, I think Friday, I took a ride up there just to check the road out.
It's bad.
There's
It's
nothing
not-
left.
Yeah, it's bad.
And we didn't even have a hard winter.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Elsa has picked a person she wants for her deputy. So, is there a motion to approve?
Who are you? State your name and your business.
I'm Laura Mills.
Thank you.
How come?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Billy to, accept Laura Mills as the deputy town clerk, tax collector, RVS, RMO.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I know you're really worried about that, but. Okay, on the really old business, we're back to the pool again.
Yep. Right now, we have, put out requests to, several pool engineers, for a design. This is Plan B that we had to go to after our whole other fiasco. So by February 16th, next week, we should begin to get the designs back, the proposals back. From that point, our Eric Robert will help us review those, and we will be deciding which design to go with. I believe we're looking at probably 3 to 4 different designs coming back. So once that happens, we anticipate to be at the next town board meeting on 3/8 to ask for the approval for to set a contract with the new designer. And from there, we move on through with hopes to be putting bids out for the construction by May 16th, with those due back on June 14th. That's our plan right at the moment. So, we still anticipate being able to break ground and get started on this project by the end of the year, by the, fall, which actually works out good for others that are involved in it. So, we are on track, things are looking good, we're very positive, we're gonna get there this time. This is it.
Are you promising this is the
Oh,
final?
I
no.
am
Don't say it.
that close
say
to
it.
it.
Don't
I
say
don't
it.
dare.
Please don't say it.
If I'd had my way, we would've kept going as we were, but unfortunately,
Okay.
couldn't do that.
Any other old business? All right, moving on, new business. Just need it mentioned in the minutes that Tom did the annual audit of the court records.
Yeah.
And
Everything balanced.
good to hear. Now all I gotta do is figure out where to send it.
That's next up.
All right. I think the next item on new business, we might better handle an executive session, short executive session at the end. We're not making progress on that as fast as I had hoped, so. Other new business, we're gonna have to do a audit of the, books for the town clerk too. We've got a checklist from, the comptroller's office on that. Do we have any volunteers? Or should I draft somebody?
I don't mind doing those, but I need to know, how soon is it gotta be done, and I guess,
We're not in a huge rush on that,
Okay.
we just need to get one done, cause it hasn't been done
so,
for last year.
if I could look over what the comptroller's office
Yeah.
sent to us,
Yeah.
to see what's
I'll
entailed.
get you a copy of the checklist.
Volunteer to work on that.
Alright.
What's the history of that?
It's just a requirement of the comptroller's office that annually there's supposed to be an audit of the town clerk's books,
Okay.
just to make sure that the signatures are the right signatures. We don't have missing check numbers out of the back of the book and all that good stuff.
Right.
Basically another piece of paperwork to send to somebody in Albany that probably will never look at it. Anyway, moving right along. In your packet, there's a letter from, I think it was Bev Shields sent out, They're asking for help on the bed tax with identifying some of the Airbnbs. Seems when you're online, all you need to do is click and you have a name and the road, but no street address and no last name, and they're trying to track them down for the bed tax. That's gonna be kicking in here soon. So if anybody, I guess, if all the board members will look over your list, if you know who they are, make a note, get it back to me, and I will pass it on to the county.
I got a feeling these Airbnbs are gonna be like smoke.
That's gonna be a
Be
nightmare.
chasing them all year long, all the time.
Yep.
Problem is that a lot of them are doing something where they have no insurance to do it.
That's true
When
too.
they find out that they're violating their homeowner's insurance by renting an Airbnb, they'll be a little surprised.
That's the problem. They're not claiming any income, they're not paying any taxes at all.
Yep.
And that was the main complaint with the motels
Yeah.
in the area about, you know, bed tax. It's like, what about all these people that are renting? So they revised the bed tax law and added them in. Now we've gotta try to
It'll
come
be
up with a
fun
list.
chasing them down.
Yeah. Okay, I guess moving on to committee reports, highway machinery, anything else?
Yeah, I talked to Darren, he couldn't be here tonight, but basically, you know, everything is going fine over there. They've been doing some brush cutting and so on as the weather's permitted. He did give me a report on the electric, and we're just waiting payment to NICEAG to finalize that, but everything else is done down there. So other than that, it's been good.
Very good. Health and youth, Matt?
What I have to report is that we had some success with the skating rink, but the weather's made it complicated. It was promising, and maybe it will return. There's also a new activity that's happening, which is a town and village activity. It's open gym at the high school on Sundays from 1 to 4. So we organized it, and it's, we provide the insurance for it under our policy. However, we don't pay anything for the utilities and maintenance, which is a required fee for using the high school. It's paid for through a donation from the Delhi Community Fund. So there's a new activity out there for anybody who wants to use the gym on the weekends. Sunday, 1 to 4, Delaware Academy, 3 gyms. It happened the first time this last weekend. It was good, very good.
That's just running through the month of February right now?
Right now, it's just a pilot program, yeah. So, we have a couple people up there who basically just walk around and make sure that everybody's sharing nicely, but there's no coordinated activities or anything. And the high school is waiting to see how interested people are in the activity and if it's utilized, and then they said if it seems like something people want, they might be willing to chip in too in the future and extend it throughout the winter. Anything else, Bill, that I'm forgetting?
No, those are the two big ones.
Okay.
Alrighty.
We may have ice again this weekend.
If it doesn't freeze this weekend, it's never gonna.
As long as people don't go walking through it.
Well, I mean, I've got signs up there that say the ice is bad, don't go on the ice, and
Right.
then I drive up
Danger
to check,
thin
and
ice.
there's people, there's always somebody standing in the middle of it up to their ankles in
Yeah.
water. I just don't understand.
That's
Don't try to figure it out.
lost cause there.
Alright, economic development, shared services, anything to report?
We had our meeting this month, just some ongoing things. We were looking into some different studies. Glenn Nealis has been checking some pricing out in regards to our motel situation, and also the Ames Plaza. You know, those things are still moving at a snail's pace for a couple of different reasons. You know, we're still looking at have some ideas on some other areas that the town and the village can share some services on, but nothing in stone yet, but we will be having some ideas coming forward very soon, so.
Alright. Recreation, we probably covered most of it, but
Yeah.
anything else to add, or,
Nothing more right now.
alright, personnel, anything, Todd?
Nothing on the personnel, building, place to switch today, and gonna paint the clerk's room here as soon as I get back from vacation. If she can wait that long, she can.
She's got a deputy, she can pay.
I like to paint, I offer.
We'll see.
Okay, IT, anything, Matt?
I think, no, I mean, we had issues with the site, people said there were some things that looked out of whack and they've been repaired. But, we're planning to create new email addresses for all of the, council, members of council. And it'll just be something that's available on the website, when people write to it, it'll forward to the email that you normally would use. So that's, on the list for this month.
Okay. Code enforcement,
Talked with Dale. He reports one building permit issued so far this year. So we're a little slow on that, but the good news was that check came in today, and looks like we're pretty much ready to issue the permit for the infirmary. And the last I heard from Dale, they were looking at about 30 to 45 days before they were hoping to start.
yeah, everything, New York City threw a monkey wrench in the schedule, and everything got backed off. At this point, I don't know that it's really gonna slow it down, waiting for the weather to break. It's gonna be warming up, and things will probably move faster anyway.
I can report under the codes also that Dale and myself and two other code officers, Steve Hood from Emergency Services, some people from state met up at Public Safety on Thursday to discuss how to clean up the meth houses that have been popping up, since there really isn't any state standard on how to do that. So the four of us are working together to come up with a policy that we could probably implement within the county. So that's, we've been working on that the last couple, so it'll move forward next month.
Okay. Codes monthly report, I think Billy pretty much covered it. Justice court report. It's in your packet. Is there a motion to accept the justice court report?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Clerk's monthly report. Any questions for our new clerk?
How's it going? How's the transition?
Much better now, thank you.
Good. Any advice for us in the future for transitions? Not that you'll ever be not our clerk, but.
You didn't know it was a life sentence, did you?
I will enjoy it. No, I am enjoying it. It's gotten much easier. I think that's something we need to discuss. I think that's something as a board you need to discuss.
It might not be a bad thing on all
Correct,
elected
on all.
positions, you
Correct.
know,
Mhm.
make things a little smoother and easier. Okay, is there a motion to accept the clerk's report?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. All right, supervisor's financial report. In the back of your packet are the necessary year-end budget amendments to balance out the accounts for last year, and a revised December supervisor's report with the new information. So is there a motion to make the necessary budget amendments and accept the revised December 2015 supervisor's report.
I'll make a motion.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, county report, not a lot to report. January meeting was canceled. Jim Heisel's mother passed away. And we only had one, I think, pre-filed motion on the agenda anyway, so it probably isn't gonna make a big difference, but the fact that we only have one meeting in February is gonna kind of lump everything into one big pile at the end of the month here. One thing I do want to report, CWT, on my request, sent a letter to New York City protesting their requiring building permits or septic permits for a septic tank replacement. I asked that we send a letter supporting CWC's position on that's not what the memorandum of agreement says, and letting sewage run on the ground for 5 weeks while you wait for them to issue a permit to replace a septic tank is ridiculous. So that has been passed on down to the appropriate channels, and we'll see what happens with that. We did have a meeting, a few of the CWT, a few of the CWC, and a lot of other town supervisors with Department of Health, DEC, and EPA, and voiced our frustration with New York City reinterpreting their rules, taking sections out of the rules that were in our favor, adding stuff that's in their favor. And I think finally we got the point across that we're not happy. And the water supply permit needs to be signed this year, and I think Department of Health has figured out that they've got to go back to the drawing board and offer us something, or we're gonna have a problem.
They'll have a problem.
They'll have a problem. But that's the status right now. We've got another meeting, CWT, next Monday night, to see where we go from here. It's one of those, we're one of the signing parties to the water supply permit, but we haven't seen it. But DEP and Department of Health have been passing drafts back and forth for months. So,
Do you know whether in the beginning, when the memorandum was first drafted, there was a fund established, so that if and when New York City decided to, challenge their tax, whatever their taxes are, there was a fund established that towns could use in order to fund those kind of challenges. And my understanding is that fund was completely depleted. There is no more money left in it. And I don't know whether, I believe it's supposed to be refunded. Now, this was a discussion that came up a couple of years ago, I know, at a governmental affairs committee that I serve on, and it was a question as to why that fund hadn't been refunded. I'm just curious whether that ever happened or not,
I
or
don't know.
whatever happened with that whole thing, but it was part of the original agreement, that those funds would be paid for by New York City.
Where'd the funds go to?
The funds have been used by some of the towns throughout the years who have had challenges by New York City in regards to their tax assessments. And so, my understanding is those funds were depleted through some of these legal challenges over years, so, just curious whether those funds were ever reestablished.
How much was in the fund?
I don't remember, to be honest with you, I don't know.
$38.
Yeah, $38.26. No, it's
I think it was 90,000.
90,000.
90,000.
That's what sticks in my mind.
Yeah.
I'll have to check and see whether it is gone, whether it's been refunded.
Yeah, my understanding it was supposed to be kept up.
And who funds that?
The city,
The city funds their own
yeah,
Right.
against themselves.
that's basically.
Okay,
So,
just, I like that.
Yeah,
That's probably why they're not refunding it.
I like that.
If it makes sense, you can't do it in government. All right. next up, abstracts. We've got, numbers 38 through 75 totaling